Today we'll be taking a look at my top 10 sweps/weapons in Garry's mod. I just want to state before the video starts that this video is going to be covering the single weapons/sweps in Garry's mod and not the packs that the weapons may or may not come in. So like, let's say for instance the Fallout 4 swep pack or weapon pack. That is pretty awesome and it would definitely make a list of mine, but it's a weapon pack and this video is going to focus on the single swep, so pretty much just mods or add-ons that come in just a single form of one swep or one weapon. If you guys disagree with my opinions on what I think are the top 10 best sweps/weapons, then you can leave your opinions down in the comments below, and if you guys suggest something or you think that something should have made the list, then I'll definitely consider that in my next top 10. Remember that this is not my only top 10 weapons/sweps that I'll be doing in Garry's mod. This is just the first one that I'll be doing, and I'll be doing plenty more in the future. Any weapons that I use in this video are, in my opinion, weapons that I think are great right now, but that could possibly change in the future, which is exactly why I'll be doing multiple lists in the future of top 10 weapons/sweps. With that out of the way, let's get started. Number 10 is the Super Gravity Gun. So this is actually a weapon that I really enjoy, and it's actually something that is actually from Half-Life 2, and when I first got this in Half-Life 2, I felt like an absolute boss because it is pretty much what it is. It's a super gravity gun. And the reason why it's number 10 is because it doesn't really add too much to the game, but it is very fun to have nonetheless. Moving on to number 9, we have the TF2 Bow. Now, when I actually did a video on this at one point, I actually just thought it was just a regular bow, but it looked cartoony. Little did I know it's actually a bow from the game Team Fortress 2, which I was stupid for not realizing back then. But the cool thing about this bow is it does have multiple types of arrows you can use, and we'll go over those arrows right now. So the arrows that you can use in this swep is the fire arrows, the regular arrows, and of course explosive arrows. And the reason why this is number 9 is because I think that it brings something that's new, but also at the same time old, because it is from a source game, just like what Garry's mod is. But I do like it because it implements it in a very interesting way in Garry's mod, and it's a very fun swep to use, that's for sure. Coming in at number 8 is the Attack on Titan maneuver gear, or 3D maneuver gear. And the cool thing about this is it's actually not just the maneuver gear, it's actually the Titan swep as well. So you can become Titans, and you can also become this cannon thing, which I'm not too sure what that's all about. I've never really seen the anime, but you could pretty much become different types of size Titans, which you can use to pretty much crush your foes. You can also use multiple features on the 3D gear, which I'll go over right now. So you press E to activate hooks, left mouse button for attack, right mouse button for special, and shift for gas. So the reason why this, in my opinion, is number 8 is because this is something that's completely new that you've never seen before. It actually does kind of sadden me that it's so low on the list because I had a lot of fun doing this. In fact, my video that I did on it is actually on the mod page if you guys want to go check that out. It's a very, very cool mod, and it does sadden me to put it at number 8, but for right now, this stands as my number 8. Moving right along to number 7, we have the Storm Swep, or the Storm Gun. Now the thing that's cool about this is that it actually uses multiple types of weather conditions, and even some that are very fictional but still work in a very good way. And this is one of the mods that I used and was pretty much like, wow, like this is actually in Garry's mod, and I loved that you could actually use it to pretty much as a weapon. And the storms are as follows. So we have the Firestorm, we have a Fire Tornado, and we have Lightning and the Snowstorm. Now the Snowstorm is kind of laggy, but again, this is a mod that I used and was pretty much blown away. Like, it is a fairly old mod and the effects aren't too spectacular, which is why it's number 7 on the list. And it's something that I think that you guys will definitely enjoy. Up next, we have the SpiderMan Sweep. Now this is all over Garry's mod in the workshop. If you want to use the one that I use, which I think is the best one, that's going to be the one that I'm talking about. It pretty much has the animations that you have with your hand when you actually swing, and it looks really cool. A lot of them do use guns, and I personally don't like those. I personally like the ones that actually use the hand animation, because it just kind of adds that realism. You can also shoot people with webbing as an attack, and it's pretty good. It doesn't bring too much to the table in terms of like modifying, But the thing that I did love about it is it was one of the first mods I used in Garry's mod, and it blew me away because it was one of the first times I thought, wow, like you can do this in this game. And it pretty much set in stone that Garry's mod is a game where you can do pretty much anything in, and it's something I really did enjoy when I was younger. But this is why it makes my list as number 6. Going right up on to number 5 is the 4-in-1 crossbow. So this is something that some people are probably going to think, wow, why is this number 5? Like, this is something that should be like number 8 or something. And it is true that it isn't really that unique. It's just a crossbow, but the 4-in-1 feature is what killed it for me. Now, the crossbow is actually known as the archer crossbow, but I called it the 4-in-1 because that's pretty much what it is it does have multiple types of arrows to shoot, or I guess crossbow bolts in this case. So there is the fire arrows, which is pretty cool, and it also makes people explode with a full charge. You can also use the grappling arrow, which is pretty awesome. You can actually use it to reel yourself up, and this is something I really enjoyed. And there's many awesome arrows to use. It really was a joy to play around with, and I actually did a video on this, and it was a mod that I thoroughly enjoyed. Next up, on to number 4, and this is a very interesting one, is the Werewolf. So I actually did this video with my good friend Josh, and it is an interesting SWEP because it actually transforms you, which kind of sounds crazy when you think about it, like, whoa, isn't that like an entity or something? And no, that is a SWEP or / weapon. And it's pretty cool because it does transform you into a werewolf, like it says, and you're getting a plethora of new abilities that you can use, and it's very fun to kind of role play with friends to kind of see like if you can hunt down your friends in the werewolf stage, and then you can also cure it as well, I believe. So the features of this go as follows. You can infect people. When you hit them, you get regenerating health, you have some badass animations, you get the super leap, you get super speed, and you can transform between werewolf and human seamlessly, just like I stated earlier. It is a very cool mod to just mess around with, and it's kind of crazy to think that it's actually a SWEP. I had a lot of fun with this, so this is why it is my number 4. Moving up to number 3 is the portal gun. So this is something that you're probably saying, whoa, why is this so high on the list? Like, it's just the portal gun from the Portal game. Well, that is just the one thing that makes it on this list so high, is the fact that it is actually the portal gun from Portal. Now, there's been many iterations of this, and some of them have been very buggy, some of them lacking very incredible features that you need to actually thoroughly enjoy this kind of SWEP. But the cool thing about this one is this one works, and I did a video on it and I thought, wow. For the most part, it does work very well, and it's very fun. It's not as seamless as the actual game one, but it's very fun to use, and just the mind-blowing fact that the portal gun is in Garry's mod is still amazing to me, and that is why it's number 3. Moving on to number 2, now this is something that you guys may not expect or may not even know about, but I, for some reason, just absolutely fell in love with this SWEP, and that is the Godhand Sweep. So it's kind of interesting because this SWEP is actually very diverse, but that's what makes it so high on this list, is that you can dish out combos, and I actually realized this is actually the mechanic, at least it's related to the mechanic that is in the game of the same name, which is Godhand, and I've never played it personally. Apparently it's a fighting based game with a combo system, and that combo system transitions very well into Garry's mod, and that is, in my opinion, what makes it such an amazing mod, because when I did a video on this, again, it blew me away. When I first tried this, I was like, okay, it looks pretty fun, but all the cool combos you can make and all the outcomes that came out with it, and I realized this isn't one SWEP, like this is one weapon. And that's when I thought, okay, this is awesome, and it was, again, one of the most enjoyable weapons that I ever used in Garry's mod, and one of my favorite videos to record a mod on. So, very awesome. I don't know why I love this one so much, but I just think it's really cool in terms of the features, but it is my number 2 on this list. And number 1, finally, is the Harry Potter wand. So this is something that, again, blew my mind, but I gotta admit that I'm actually aiming more towards the admin version of this, because even though this is a top 10 SWEPS video and not a top 10 SWEPS pack or weapons pack, this is still something that I had to include because for the most part, you're going to be using one wand at a time, and pretty much that's it. But there is a standard version and an admin version, and the admin spells are crazy overpowered, and this is something that I had so much fun with, even though I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I've actually only seen like 1 or 2 movies, and I know nothing about the whole thing, but they give you so much features in this weapon, and I enjoyed it so much because There's like one where like you can like illuminate things, and I was butchering the name so bad when I did a video on it. But there's one where like you can use a fireball. Some of them are like extremely overpowered, and it is just very, very fun to use. I highly recommend you guys check this one out. But with all that out of the way, guys, that is going to conclude my top 10 SWEPS / weapons for Garry's mod. If you guys disagreed with anything on this list, let me know down below what you would have preferred to see on the list, and I'll definitely consider it for a future top 10 video. If you liked anything on this list, or if there's some that you didn't even hear about, that's kind of what I focused on. I wanted to include some that people have heard about and some that people have probably never heard about, and I wanted to put it in a list so that way you guys could probably check out some of these mods if you never checked them out before. If you want to follow any of my social media, it'll be down in the description. And of course, if you want to leave any kind of suggestion for a mod showcase in the future, or any other kind of suggestion for anything pretty much, or just let me know what you thought about the video, you can leave that in the comment section down below. And every single mod that I listed will be in the description down below, as well as all the mod creators. And I'll even include a playlist of me, because I believe I've done a video on every single one of these amazing mods, and I'll actually link you guys to a playlist if you want to see any of these mods in further detail before you want to download them, because you might think, oh, like they're pretty fun, but maybe you want like a more in-depth look at them. You can do that by clicking on that playlist, and I'll take you through a showcase, which is my specialty. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, farewell.